I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Nice to say the pledge.
We'll call you back.
Hi, Carrie, come on in.
Got this, you want me to do it?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead, Dan?
Okay, are there any minutes, Helen?
I've done.
Okay, how about reports?
Yes, we have the August fourth and recorder fees.
The recorder fees for the month. Ooh, up a little bit. $9,154, the fees for the month of August. For the recorder. A little higher than they've been running, been 8,000 or something.
That's what I say.
Okay. Any correspondence?
I have none.
Okay, how about calendar review?
I had some correspondence,
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Chair. I won't read it, but it's in relationship to the Corbin Road issue. Again, we're still getting mail from some folks that are wanting us to do something different there. But I haven't got anything to read, so.
Oh, okay, I have none either, so. So calendar review, Helen, please.
Well, this is it. Today. Tomorrow at noon, Boyd Andrew meeting in Helena.
Been canceled.
Tomorrow there will be no Boyd Andrew meeting. Planning board? Tonight. Tonight. Move that over. Thursday, CTAC at 8 in Whitehall, Trico Fire at 9 in Montana City, survey review at 1:30, weed board at 6, and basin water and sewer at 6:30. It is Commissioner Mullins Friday. There's a CSAA call at 8:30 and an SAA monthly check-in at 10. And next week is Mako in Missoula.
Next week is Mako.
Okay, thank you, Helen.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I also show an Area 4 Agency on Aging meeting Thursday at 11. And that's all the additions I have to what Helen said, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay, commission reports, Commissioner Mullen?
Did you have any additions to
Oh, I do not,
to
thank
the
you.
agenda?
I did not, thank you, everything's on.
Yeah, the only meeting that I had last week was my Central Service Area Authority meeting. Connor is online, I guess. Central Service Area Authority is a mental health group. Or the 14 counties kind of in the middle of the state. From Blaine County on the east to Glacier County on the west, down to Gallatin and Park County, that strip kind of right in the middle of Montana. The Central Service Area Authority represents those 14 or 15 counties. And those counties have local advisory councils, local mental health advisory councils. And they help as a bridge between the local councils and the state of Montana, the Department of Public Health and Human Services. And that's the role that the CSAA plays. And they're kind of responsible for putting together training around the region and around the state. One of the things they're working on now is the new Service Area Authority Summit, which is coming up September, the end of September. That's where they bring all the service area authorities together, all three of them, and all of the local advisory councils, and talk about what everybody's doing, what's working and what's not. So mostly that's what we talked about at the meeting last Friday. Talked about other little training opportunities that were going on, things we needed to get done, reports we needed to get filed, that sort of thing. And that was about it, Mr. Chairman. That was the meeting
Mr. Mullen.
last Friday.
Whitehall, the 4th of September, which was a Wednesday, the VBRD working group. Travel management is still in limbo as nothing has moved forward currently. Next year in 2025, Delmo Lake will be the beginning of a facelift of the campground. And then Carol Hatfield, who was a deputy ranger, is retired and her position has not currently been filled. Then on the 5th, that Thursday, survey review committee, there were 2 plots of land reviewed and then forwarded on for approval. And then that same evening, the Jefferson River Watershed Council, but that meeting was canceled. And then as for today, we met with the road crew supervisor, Bear Taylor, and pretty much what was covered as for the Whitehall, the Cedar Hills Road, they're doing an improvement on the signs there in a particular area due to the folks, the way they're, as for speed and everything, so this should be an improvement to that to help those folks out. And then also, like Commissioner Mullen mentioned, there was a lot of discussion on the Corbin Road. So that's about it as for the road crew. And then where'd it go? Sanitation, we met with them today with Mike and pretty much in the Helena recycling, 8.13 tons of cardboard, 0 tons of paper, 0.42 or excuse me, 42 tons of aluminum, 86 tons of tin, with a revenue of about $168 for all of that. And then during June, the brush hauled to the landfill was 54.59 tons. And which their cost there was $1,254.78. And then as for the steel revenue, there were 20 tons, and at that point it was $1,497.92. And then at this point in time,
Drop 25 cents a ton, yeah.
But
it's
yeah,
not very
pound,
much.
it was not.
It was $1 a pound here
Yeah.
recently, and now it's down to 75 cents.
And as for the little placards that you have in your motor vehicles and stuff, they're talking about renewing the permits, updating them. So they'll be gotten rid of the old ones, not yet, but it's probably gonna happen this next year, so everybody be aware of it. So, still in the works, so that's all I've got. You got anything, Mr. Mullin?
No, nothing more, Mr. Chairman, no.
Okay. And is it,
We could do maybe, I don't know how long Terry needs.
yeah, opportunity for comment, but we got like 7 minutes. If you want to wait till after we go through our pertinent stuff of 1:45, you're more than welcome to. That way you got more time. So does anybody want to say anything for the next 5 minutes or?
Well, I have some information, request information, Chairman.
Oh.
One is you've mentioned somebody named Carol Hatfield with
Yes,
the
sir.
Forest Service. What is her position?
She was the deputy ranger out of Dillon,
Okay.
and she was under Lisa Timochik, who took actually it's a medical, but she retired. And then my understanding is with Carol, she put in for the ranger position that Lisa had and did not get that position, so she decided to retire. And there's another gentleman, which I think I spoke about last week, that had filled the ranger position. So they're diligently looking right now for a deputy ranger to fill that position
In Dillon.
in Dillon.
Okay,
It oversees it all as for the Beaverhead Deer Lodge.
okay. Then another question I had is with respect to, you said when they took the recycling stuff in, it included aluminum and cardboard.
Right.
They received $168, is that correct?
Total, right.
Total.
Yeah.
Now we have to haul that to wherever, to Pacific or someplace to get rid of it?
We have to haul it someplace,
Yeah.
either up to Tri-County or Pacific, yeah.
Okay, so there's a cost of
there is
delivering that stuff.
Yeah,
which
there's
probably makes it about even out.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Okay, but now you did mention something about steel towards the end of there. How many tons of steel and what was the revenue for that?
$1,497.92.
20 tons.
Yeah, 20 tons.
20 tons, and that goes to Pacific again, or the highest bidder.
Yeah, whoever is bidding for our steel.
Okay.
I
I
think
don't know
that's
if it's
where most
specific
all of
right
us
now or
are.
not.
I know I'm dropping off into the weeds here a little
No.
bit. I know you, I thank you for the placards, getting new placards. I think that's a good point, and I think it's helped reduce the amount of people bringing stuff in that shouldn't be or not paid. And I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not.
I'm kind of curious, has he kept track of any of that? Has that changed the tonnage of anything with respect to being more cautious about having just waste from Jefferson County?
Not that I've asked about. Yeah.
He didn't state about the tonnage, but he said he's seen a little bit of a drop because of this
Yeah,
going on. But like Commissioner Mullen said, I don't know about the tonnage, if
okay.
that's changed, but he's aware of it, and he hasn't had as many people from out of town, so to speak, or out of the area come in as well.
Yeah, and
They're still there.
every time before I would go in there, I would see these, they quick race in and dump and be gone, and they'd have 5 or some other plate. And so I think now the people working there are a little more conscientious or paying more attention. Are you a resident here? Do you have a placard or not? And so it's gotta make some difference, but you know, when you're dealing with volume, it doesn't probably make much difference.
No, I think the dump attendants are more onto it now, as long as they have an opportunity to act instead of, like you said, 5 vehicles rolling in at one time. But they're being more productive in that regard.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, we got 3 minutes. Okay,
We got what?
3 minutes, I mean, the 1:45. So, Connor, do you have anything at
What
this
is it,
point
one-
right now?
What is the 145? It's
The boundary line.
just
adjustment?
us anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do not, sir, but thank you. I'm curious over the process of like collecting and distributing the waste tonnage. That's actually very interesting, but I don't think that's a today question as I'm like 30 seconds informed, but thank you.
Okay, understood. So, are we going to do that since it's 1:45? We can do that, right? It's not time sensitive,
We
right?
do what?
Subdivision review, can we do it now? Do we have to wait till 1:45 because it's not
Well,
time
I gotta
specific?
wait for the right time.
I'm just curious, just didn't say time specific. I'm below it does. Bear with me, guys. I'm in this position today, so.
I don't know what you're wanting to do.
In other
Ken.
words, can we go ahead and jump into that? Because it's not time specific. This one is not.
Both of these are.
Are they when they're down there like that?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's what I was looking at.
yeah, both of them are time
Okay,
specific.
we got
Yeah.
a few minutes, so.
But if Lindsay can squeeze it in a couple of minutes, I'll take it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, then. Can you?
No, I'm just speaking. I'm just kidding. She already
Okay.
said she couldn't.
Might not
Yeah.
understand, but I can try.
How you today, Connor?
I am quite well, actually. We just got a newspaper out, and I think the story on the county budget is, let's call it coherent. The maze and wonderland that is municipal budgeting it was pretty crazy for me the past few days. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, things are good.
Did you get your question answered, Connor?
Oh, yes, sir, I did. I mean, I suppose we have a minute. I don't mind addressing the room, but it was for Mr. Mullen. You know, yesterday you mentioned that there was some relationship to, you said Gallatin County School District.
Correct.
But that I'm new, but that doesn't share a geography with Jefferson County, right? Were you perhaps referring to Madison County?
No, we share a school district down at Willow Creek is one of the school districts we share, elementary. We have some kids that go to school in that school,
Okay.
and that's in Gallatin County.
Okay, thank you, sir.
We also have some kids that go to school, I think, over in Three Forks. You know, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, as they're recalculating their mill levies right now, we're waiting for that to get done so we can get the correct mill levies on our final resolution.
Okay, sir, that was my understanding.
And that's kind of the discussion we were having yesterday.
Well, thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, we're at 145, the boundary line adjustment. Lindsay, if you would explain that to us, please.
All right, this is a pretty simple one. That's a boundary line adjustment for the Metatrack 1A and 2A. They noticed the pins were incorrect, so they're just wanting to correct the pins that were there. So it's a very faint adjustment, if you can see it right there. It's kind of hard to see with the dash lines. They just noticed the pins were wrong, so they had the survey come back.
How would one notice that
This
the
pin was
pins were
underneath the
wrong?
building.
Huh?
It was underneath the building.
Yeah,
So when they went to find the pin, they couldn't find the pin. So they had the surveyor come back out.
and then he realized it was in the wrong place.
Yeah. So that's just what they're trying to do, is just clean up that survey.
What did that cost them to do, I wonder?
I didn't ask that question. I didn't read
They,
it.
they paid for it.
Somebody did it.
I felt like that was probably the sore subject. I decided not to bring up, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they're just cleaning up that survey with the 2 pins and a little slight corrections.
Anything having to do with land use planning costs pretty good money anymore. You know, so.
So can I ask the date of the original survey?
The original survey.
I think that's just fine.
I guess of the subdivision, sir. Signed off by the professional engineer.
They have. This one was March of 23. They have another one down in here. Hold on a second. Was November 2010, the original.
Oh, okay.
So, and then they made a boundary line adjustment over on this one, which is in 23, and then they just noticed that those 2 pins were incorrect, and so they're doing that now.
This is where Papa Ray's sits, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or-
it's probably the,
And it's that new building that he put down below that, or that
Yeah.
new
Oh,
so it's the 2, it's the Warner or. is it
Ryan, whatever
Yeah,
his name is, yeah.
it's those 2.
So it was Ryan's under his building, huh?
You just want to clean that up. Which,
good idea.
Well,
so I'm
I would make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we approve this subdivision boundary line adjustment, amending tracks 1A and 2A of the Thayer's minor subdivision, including the findings and conditions as recommended by the Jefferson County Planning Board.
And I would second that. Any other discussion? There no being any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye,
Aye. All those opposed?
thanks, Lindsay.
Nobody else? Thank you. Now, you got 12 minutes. Okay, now this is the time for opportunity for public comment, and please understand it's being recorded at the same time. And this is anything that of course wasn't on the agenda that we can listen to, but we can't take any action on. So does anybody have any public comment?
Terry does, I think. Senator?
Well, thank you. I'm Terry Murphy from Cardwell, and actually from Shoddy Springs Road, which you heard of. And I wasn't sure if I would even be able to speak without being on the agenda, but I'm glad that you're saying I can. That road has been considered a public road ever since I've lived on it, which is 54 years.
Maybe we tell him the issue here, Terry. The issue is that the Shoddy Springs Road has been closed by the county
Yes,
a number of years ago.
the way it was told to me when I was a buyer of the property, when the Dunbar Land and Development Company sold out, was that they purchased a huge amount of property there when the homesteaders went broke and left the country. See, And there was nobody left living on the road because they had all left and Dunbar's had it all and they lived at Three Forks and they were generally speaking renting out agricultural land to various people. So in '69, they decided they would like to just sell it and they ended up selling it to 13 different people, locally owned, local people in the area. And I was one of those. So my place actually, there's 2 miles of the right of way for Shoddy Springs Road that is on my property, running east and west. And so, you know, it's just the only public road access there is to my place, and so it's exceedingly important to me that that it get to remain recognized as a public road. And they told me at the time I bought it that being closed simply meant that the county was not going to do regular maintenance on it anymore, and which is fine with me. And that they said that, and this is not my word, it's the word that was told to me, that when they closed it, that meant that it is no longer recognized as a thoroughfare. And that designation had gone by that time to the Milligan Canyon Road, which had been developed as a full-fledged county road. And the people that were left in that whole community were able to use the Milligan Canyon Road, you know, and it was maintained year round. So it's just my concern that we have a landowner wanting to claim that because the county won't maintain the road like he wishes, that he can just declare it been abandoned and close it down, not let people drive on it, which is what he's in the process of doing right now.
He's putting a gate across the road. He's putting a fence and gate across the road, or?
And well, he started out by locking a gate across the road. But since then, he's done quite a bit more, and there's still some gates, but brand new barbed wire gates that are so tight that nobody but a very strong man would even be able to open and close them. They're strictly designed to be, you know,
Not open.
not openable by most people. And so I've been talking to Dan, of course, about this, and so I just wanted to drop by and since I can talk a little, let you know what my concerns are. I don't expect you to take any action today, but it's crucial to me really to have it remain known as a public road that the public can use at their discretion, even though it's not, you know, maintained all the time.
Saves you a few miles. Yeah.
Pardon me?
It saves you a few miles.
Well, yeah, it's, when I was grain farming, I mean, 95% of my grain always went to Three Forks to market down that road. It's vastly simpler than pulling a bunch of hills over to the interstate highway and then going down. And plus, I own that place, which the east end of it is 3 miles from the Broadwater County line. Well, my brother owns farm property partially in Broadwater County and partially in Jefferson. So where the county line is and where you can go a half a mile north on the Broadwater side and be in my brother's farm property, which also hooks onto a section and a half in Jefferson County, which there's no way to get to it by land except on this road, and hooks my place to that, you know, just within a very few miles. We used to always move machinery back and forth between the two places on this road, and so, you know, that it just concerns me to make sure that you people really understand what the issues are, and it's not just that the one landowner can just close a road and say nobody can use it unless they have his permission. And that's where we're at right now. So that's all I really have to say, Dan.
The other thing I gotta ask you, Terry, so they know, otherwise you only have one way in and out, right? No other way of getting in and out unless that other road was open, right?
Well, yeah, the other way is to go south to the Boulder Cutoff Road and then access the highway from there. But problem is, if you ever find that the road has been abandoned, it would have to include that part too. It'd be the whole road. You can't just pick out a couple of miles out of the road and I don't think, and then call it abandoned and leave the rest of it as a public road. So it's financially important to me that, you know, if I had anybody leasing my property that wanted to raise grain again or wanted to sell it to somebody, I mean, being on a public access road is lots better than being on private road that somebody else has authority over. That's where I'm really concerned, and I just want to, you know, I've been trying to keep in touch with my commissioner, of course, and I'm very pleased that you let me stand up and say something here, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to talk to the county attorney.
I was able to talk to him on Friday.
Oh, were you? Okay.
I called him in and we had a good conversation. I was very, well, I guess I would say somewhat relieved after
Okay.
being able to talk to him.
Yeah, we
But
need
I
to do,
still
we need
thought
to
I'd
do
come
the,
over here to your meeting today. So.
yeah, we need to do the same thing, and we haven't been able to do that yet, but we've had previous discussions with him on like situations, so, you know, we have a
I see.
pretty good idea of what he'll say, but we really need to pin Steve down and then get a letter written and get this whole thing wrapped up, so.
But one thing that did happen is clear back in the late '70s, a guy who actually had the same property that Mr. Cedarberg now has had been doing the same thing, trying to get the county to build him a first-class road and maintain it. And when the county said no, then he said, well, that means it's abandoned, so I can do whatever I want. And so I finally, just to be doubly covered, I went ahead and sued him for an easement so that I would have that as well as the fact that it's a public road. And my fear was that he might try to lock me out at a crucial time, like harvest or seeding. And it would take me a while, important time, to go to the judge and get a court order for him to open it back up, you know. So I went ahead and sued him for an easement, which he stalled on for a long time and kept saying that he had a right to, that he owned the road because it was abandoned. Well, just shortly before it was finally getting set to set a court date with Judge Blair, Judge Blair assigned his court or his clerk of court to search the Jefferson County records and ascertain whether that road had ever been abandoned. And after that happened, he came back and told the two lawyers, mine and the other one, and I can quote what he said because my lawyer told me what it was. He said, after a diligent search of the Jefferson County records, the clerk of court found nothing to indicate that road had ever been abandoned. So he wasn't even going to allow that discussion to be brought up in the case. Well, as it turned out, it never got before him because after that time, the other guy, whose name was Leonard Doran, decided to just sign the easement and get it over with. So I do have a very good easement, but it's a lot better to have it be a public road, you know, that anybody that wants to access my place can use, and I can use any part of it to access in and out. So those are my concerns in short order. Thanks.
Who was the judge?
Frank Blair.
Oh, that's before Davis then. No.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Boy, so we're going back,
This would have been in the very late 1970s and possibly up to 1980. Yeah.
Paul had done a bunch of research on the judges that we've had in this district court here.
Yeah, we're talking way back, but
Yeah.
you know, like I said, there was probably either 12 or 13 different buyers that purchased that Dunbar property. To the best of my knowledge, I'm the only one of them still alive. Most of them were from my parents' generation, of course, they've got several places that are run by heirs of the original buyers, but to the best of my knowledge, none of the original buyers that were in on all these discussions actually even are still alive, except myself.
Excuse me, is this Shawnee Road, Shoddy?
Shoddy
Shoddy,
Springs.
shoddy,
Spell it.
SHODDY.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Terry. So we'll get to you here quick, Terry.
Pardon?
We'll get to the county attorney and back to you real soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, ladies. You're up next, ladies.
The work plan presentation.
Yes. Where would you like us to sit, stand? What do you prefer?
Or whatever you
Whatever,
like, whatever
okay.
you would like, you can come
Alright.
up here, we sit back there.
I'll go ahead and sit here. Oh,
Kathy can sit there by,
Thank you very much.
there you go,
Thank you for
Kathy.
having us today.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you very much, commissioners. Do I need to spell my name for the record or as,
You signed in?
yes,
We'll
okay,
we'll find it.
great.
Legibly.
I think so, okay. So we are here today.
Which
to-
one, the Lori one or?
The Lori one.
Yeah, not Lori.
Yeah.
L-O-R-I.
Yeah. And Kathy, I don't know if hers is legible.
Yeah, mine's Kathy Marks, M-A-R-K-S,
With an I, Kathy with an I.
with a Y.
Capital K.
I'm
See, you
just-
never know.
I'm just teasing them, yeah.
Well, as I said, thank you for having us today. We come before you today to present our work plan for the 2024, 2025 calendar year.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And we're a little later than we should be. I don't even know why. We just somehow didn't get around to coming sooner. Typically, the process is that we submit our work plan to the state in March. And then they have to put all the work plans for all the HRDCs together and submit them to the federal government. And then when they get approval, then we usually are good to go to come and get your stamp of approval as well. So anyways, that would have been earlier this summer, so better late than never, I guess. I'm gonna let Kathy talk about the work plan, but before that, I'm just gonna say a few things about Rocky in general. I know that Bob is very familiar with, Commissioner Mullen is very familiar with, Rocky, as he's been on our board for a number of years. Commissioner Haggerty, I'm not sure if you know much about Rocky, but we do provide senior nutrition opportunities in senior centers for congregate dining and Meals on Wheels in Lewis and Clark, Broadwater, and Jefferson counties. We have energy assistance programs, LIHEAP and weatherization and energy share for the same service area. Rocky's Agency on Aging is the funding conduit for the meal programs, and they also provide information and assistance and referrals for seniors navigating long-term care options and Medicare applications and that sort of thing. We have a Head Start program, and we have a preschool program located in Helena that's different and separate from Head Start. We have volunteer programs under the AmeriCorps Seniors umbrella, foster grandparents, senior companions, and retired senior volunteers. And we have affordable housing properties all over that 3-county area, including one here in Boulder, Big Boulder. So that's kind of just an overview in general of what Rocky does. And I wanted to let you know that I got some data for our fiscal year 24 in Jefferson County. We served 2,410 meals in the senior center, which is open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday each week, and served 6,006 Meals on Wheels. So I thought you might be interested in those 2 data points. And then I'll let Kathy go ahead.
Now,
and
is
talk.
that just here in Boulder or is that the county itself? Or is that Boulder?
You know,
I'm
I'm
asking about
not
Whitehall.
sure how far,
Oh,
that includes Whitehall.
that's what. I
That
thought.
does
Okay.
include Whitehall. Thank you. I'm sorry for a second there. I just,
Mhm.
Had a
I'm just
little
curious
blip.
myself.
So I'm gonna talk about the work plan, and as Commissioner Mullen mentioned, it's a lot of stuff on it. What this is it's required by our community services block grant, which is actually one of our smaller grants, but they require this every year to be approved. But the programs included in this are all of Rocky programs, not just those funded by the community services block grant. And it's separated into domains, and I'm just gonna go through this rather briefly. If you have any questions or anything, I'm happy to talk more about it. But the first page, I talk about domains, and the domains come from the Community Action Network. And there are 5-6 domains, and they are employment, education and cognitive development, income infrastructure and asset building, housing, health, social behavioral development, and civic engagement and community development. And so this report that I'm going to talk about goes in those sections. We don't have anything in the employment domain because Rocky doesn't provide employment services. It was previously, until just this year, that was done by Career Training Institute in Helena. So we don't provide the employment. But if you go to the next one is education and cognitive development. And what we do on this report is we have to show in the very first column all of the services that Rocky would provide under education. And that would be our Head Start programs, our Rocky Mountain Preschool Center, and also the foster grandparent program where we have seniors in the school district helping students who need a little extra help and reading to different kids and just helping them out. Then the next column is we are supposed to project an outcome. We're supposed to project how many people will serve and how many people will serve overall, and then how many will achieve the outcome. And that gets especially tricky when things change so much. When we hit COVID, it was remarkable at how much those numbers changed because we closed the senior centers. So we had no senior nutrition, but our Meals on Wheels went through the roof because we were providing meals. So it does change, but we're supposed to target and have trends so we can see where we are. That third column where it says FNPI and numbers, FNPI is Family National Performance Indicator. And that's a CAP agency specific. All the community action partnership agencies like ours in the country use these same performance indicators. The next column is just a true description of what that is. And then we're also supposed to tell the state how we are going to measure our success. So that's what you're looking at as we go around or go through this. And then the actual outcomes, we would have those numbers by June of 25, because this is our first fiscal year of this plan. So just the first one, I'll just say, in the Rocky Mountain Preschool, we have 66 children, and we expect 100% of them to receive the early childhood education and provide for higher graduation rates among children. So that is our projected outcome. And by the end of the year, we would have the actual outcome. But like I said, in education, it's the preschool, it's Head Starts, and foster grandparents, and everything that they do. And then it's like to the third page, and it's income and asset building. And the only program we have in that one is our homebuyer education program. We do this once a month, either virtually or in person. And we have a coordinator who then brings in all sorts of experts on getting a home loan, getting an inspection, you know, what you would need to qualify for a home. They just have different speakers all day long. And then the person who attends the class gets kind of a break when they go to purchase a home. The other thing we have with that now is our homebuyers education program has a little bit of foreclosure prevention counseling, and that's been used a lot in the last year, so that we're trying to help people figure out how to prevent a foreclosure on their home. The next one page is housing, and housing, as Lori mentioned, we have housing projects throughout the Tri-County area that we serve. We also have other programs that have services in the housing. Our Head Start families, it's hard to believe, but our Head Start family, what do we call them? Family advocates, sorry. They help homeless people find homes. They will, you know, work really hard so that we don't have homeless children in our classes. We also have an emergency solutions grant that Rocky has, and we actually send that over to Good Samaritan Ministries because they have the expertise, and that provides for rapid rehousing, homelessness prevention, street outreach, and so they do the work, but we do the grant management on that. Homebuyer education is in that one. all of our energy services are in the housing domain here, where we provide LIHEAP, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or weatherization of their homes, or energy share that can provide for like a new water heater or something, or a furnace, like something like that. And then the last program we have in that is called Housing Stability Services. And that's a fairly new grant that we actually outsourced to Good Samaritans too. And it's a fee for service, but what we try to do is work with people who are in a home or in a rental, stay in that home. We work through budgets and different things so that they're able to figure out how to make the budgets work so that they can stay in a rental. The next page, it starts our health, social behavioral development. And that is, Rocky has a lot of programs that fall under this one. Our AmeriCorps senior programs do, because they provide for physicals for the volunteers in the program. They're seniors who get a free physical to be in the program. Head Start students all receive eye exams, a little bit of medical exams and dental exams. And again, the foster grandparents at SCP, that's Senior Companion Program. Our Head Start programs, they provide a lot of mental and behavioral health. And so those services and outcomes are in this section. Senior nutrition, all of our nutrition programs are here, because what our goal is with this is to help people remain independent and in their homes. By getting the 1 meal a day, it really helps with 1/3 of their nutrition. And we provide a couple of meals to cover them over the weekend. What else do we have here? Rocky Agency on Aging, they in some areas will provide in-home personal care services. They have some respite care, but they also provide that referral and information to try to keep them in their home. And I think that's it. Well, under senior nutrition, we also have the commodities program. Commodities is a program that it's income qualified for seniors, but every 2 months they would get a donation of non-perishable food. We go to all the counties that we serve with a commodities truck, and people will just line up and they'll get their boxes of shelf-stable food.
I did.
And then the last one is civic engagement and community development. All of our volunteers receive leadership training, and that's included in this one. Head Start, we do a lot of training for the families. It's not just a student program, it's for the families also. So that falls under this. Our board membership, we have a tripartite board, which means we have members who are from the public, from low income, and then from the private sector. Senior nutrition, again, we have now only one paid route in Helena for Meals on Wheels. The rest is all done by volunteers. So those volunteers all receive training. And then the last one is kind of a catch-all. It's just outcomes where they receive more than one service from Rocky. And that's where we put anybody who has to have they have to get any kind of case management, and the people who receive case management are in our energy services, our emergency solutions grant, housing stability, Head Start. They all receive some kind of case management as they're going along through the services. And so those all fit there. And also then Rocky's ombudsman program. We're short one in Helena, but we have 2 ombudsmen who go into nursing homes and assisted living, and they advocate on behalf of the patient and do mediation. So that's kind of in a nutshell what Rocky does throughout the year. And when I work on this, it's through all the program directors providing me the data. So it's kind of a combined effort from.
It's kind of at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. We feel like it sometimes.
Your case managers,
Mhm.
are you able to bill Medicaid for them?
We're not. The only thing we bill Medicaid for right now is the people who receive, some people have some Medicaid, I think it's Medicaid or Medicare, I always get those mixed up, that they get home meals in their homes, and then we can bill Medicaid for
Medicaid
that.
waiver.
Yeah,
I think that's
Medicaid
what it's
waiver.
under.
But we
Yeah.
don't for the case management. The housing
I
solutions,
suppose you'd have to get approved as a provider
Yeah.
probably in order
Lori
to
might
do
know more
that.
than I do.
There's been a lot of talk about the HEART waiver program. Have you heard about that? It's a housing related, it's very similar to what Kathy described as the Housing Stability Services Program, where there's folks at the state level and Department of Commerce that are working as a team to try to get providers able to bill Medicaid, because that would be a funding conduit for that particular grant. And I don't know a whole lot about it right now because it's a little bit of a different area than what we've been in. But I know we used to do some Medicaid billing when we ran the youth homes, because we had the therapeutic care for the girls in the one in the Jan Shaw property. And I believe we used to do some out of Area 4 a long time ago, before my time there. But
The grants I mentioned, there is, money built into the grant for the case management. So like for emergency solutions, we have money to give to the person for maybe rent arrears or maybe first month's, last
You
month's
got
rent.
other federal dollars.
Right, and so then there are federal dollars that we give to Good Sam's for them to do the case management. And Life, were they the same? Did they get any?
it's all through the state DPHHS, IHSB, federal, and the one Northwestern Energy Grant.
Can I ask a clarification on that? Is this entirely a federal funded program, or is it federally funded and managed through the state, or where's the money coming?
For our organization,
Any of this, if you're buying Meals on Wheels, or
Largely the federal government, yes.
but it's generally through the state Department of Health and Human Services.
Yes,
a
yes.
lot of it, yeah, a lot of it is, and we do have 2 direct federal grants that are the Head
Okay.
Start grant
Uh-huh.
and the AmeriCorps Seniors grants.
And are you self-audited, so you have reports from the feds that you get from the advanced.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And
And then we have a
Lots of
single audit every year.
reported to death, yeah.
Lots of audits.
Thank you, I'm just trying to understand, appreciate it.
Yeah, quarterly, yeah.
I mean, we have a
report.
little bit of, income. Some people do pay for their Meals on Wheels or we call it a suggested donation. We don't
Right.
make a lot of money, but we get a little bit of money that way.
I've eaten here at the senior meals.
Okay.
It's about $4 or something.
Yeah.
Well worth the money.
I think you answered on the housing, because you cover rent is what you're saying, and somebody in a tight bind, right? Besides the financial assistance to help them, is that what I understood?
Right.
In the Emergency Solutions
Yes.
grant, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the other one on this rocky aging is for the ombudsman, I always have problems. Now, does that have to do with mental health?
Not necessarily.
Not specifically, although I'm sure it can come into play, but they basically visit the assisted living and nursing homes and get to know the folks that are living there and become somebody that can be an advocate if they're having an issue with something, whether it's, food issues or,
Yeah,
not
these
getting
people
along.
work for Rocky. The mental health ombudsman you might be thinking of is a person that works in the governor's office.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Correct.
different program, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Although, there's definitely an intersection with mental health in many of the programs, if not all the programs, because, that's where we see a lot of issues with trying to keep people housed. And, some of the older folks who come into the senior center, and your question about case management is an interesting one, related to Medicaid, being able to bill them for it, but just in general, having a case manager is something that we've tossed around because we don't have a specific person who's a case manager. Some of what we call case management is more indirect through the social work type services that the programs, people in the programs are providing. But we have people that come in who need a level of assistance sometimes that I think it would be helpful to have a person who could help them navigate when they don't necessarily fit in one of our boxes, if you will.
Right, right. That's what case managers are for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Care coordinators or case managers,
Yeah.
they're different, but
Yeah.
either one of them could probably do the job.
And that's really why we have those 2 grants going over to Good Samaritan Ministries, because they have peer support advocates and case managers on staff. And so, and it's the Emergency Solutions Grant is 100% match. And Good Samaritan Ministries through their other ministry programs have that match. So it's worked out well for us because we don't really have a fund to match the grant.
Yeah, these people are busy.
No, it sounds like it.
We wish it was a nicer day to drive down here.
How
'cause
many FTE?
I don't know the FTE number, but number of people is around 120. But it would be lower for FTE because a lot of,
Are part-time?
yeah, like some of the cooks are not full-time and some of the teachers aren't full-time, so.
Still pretty good size.
Yeah, dude.
How big's your budget?
It's around 11 to 12 million. It was a little higher during the pandemic when we were getting a lot of COVID money. But
The money that caused all the inflation.
yeah,
Yeah, that money. We got a bunch of it too.
yeah. For sure. And before I forget, I just wanted to thank you too for your contributions to Rocky over the years. And in 24, fiscal year 24, your contribution to us was $63,590.
How much?
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, we better choke that back.
And then we did ask you for a little increase this year, so I don't know if you looked at that or not, but if you have any questions for us, just let us know.
Yeah, we're past that. We've approved the budget.
Oh,
so,
okay. Thank you very
You're,
much.
you're safe, yeah.
We appreciate it. We appreciate your service on our
We
board.
might do a clawback about December.
Yeah.
Right now, we're looking okay.
What's the contribution, the county's contribution here?
About 63,000. They call it a mill. That's more than a mill to us. A mill would
Oh, is
be-
it?
A mill would be about 44,000.
Does it come from a true mill where it was?
I don't, I think it was just the mill levy. I'm
Oh.
guessing is probably what it
Yeah.
arose from, but
Based
the
on
county mill
population?
levy.
Is it based on population?
No. Just valuation.
Yeah, I don't know
There's the amount of a mill, yeah.
where it came from.
Some shit.
And Lewis and Clark County, they pay 100 and some thousand and their mill isn't worth that, you know, it's.
Right. They have some that they allocate to us from their general fund. They have a specific senior mill levy, and then they have,
See, we've never set up a senior levy. We don't.
so you don't
And
think
don't
of
have
it as.
authority to do it now, you know, we'd have to go to the public and vote it in.
Oh, okay,
And transportation is included in this whole program here, the senior bus or whatever it is in Whitehall.
That's a separate item,
Separate. one.
separate budget, yeah. We budget a little money for a bus here in Whitehall and Boulder.
Good, because transportation is a huge
do
issue.
they take people to Helena or any other larger cities for healthcare and things like that?
They do,
Okay.
yeah, to the hospitals, yeah.
You and,
Nice.
Missoula, Bozeman, they'll go wherever they need to go, yeah.
Has anybody from Broadwater County ever reached out to ask about how you do that here? When we went and presented to them, they were asking us about, transportation, and we have our bus that we run in Helena, but we don't in the rural
A
county.
long time ago they did, but it's been quite a while since they've reached out, yeah.
I was just curious.
this is kind of off the subject a little bit, but I hear a lot about this. It's called, senior, benefit or senior management. An old man like me can apply for it and get a charge card for X amount of dollars per month. So I can go pay for gasoline or food. Do you know anything about this thing?
It's a debit card, a credit card.
Yeah, right.
They've had them for years.
No, this one is
It's
just,
funded somehow?
yeah, it's $300 a month. You have never heard of this?
Somebody's pays for your stuff?
You get to spend $300 a month.
No, I haven't heard about
Yeah, I
that.
haven't either.
That'd be
It's
free.
it's through Medicare. If you're on Medicare, you're supposedly able to get this card.
We'll
I
ask
figure- I figure you have to pay taxes on it.
we can ask our Medicare people, the people that
Oh,
are trained in those.
I just thought you might know, don't spend any time. Thank you.
Paul and I are Medicare age, so
So am I.
we're counting what our benefits are.
Yeah.
You're not old enough, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I hit that last March, so I am old enough.
No.
But I like
I don't
Rocky's health
believe it.
insurance, so I'll stick around with that for a while.
Oh, well, you want both, is what you want.
Yeah, you're right.
What, private insurance and Medicare? I'm about to lose my private insurance.
Well, we have some people you can talk to.
You're probably already signed up though, on Medicare, right?
I am signed up, but I haven't used it yet.
If you need to know the different plans and whatever, they're good and they're not salespeople, so it works pretty well.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the donut hole yet.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
That's in your health, your what pharmacy benefit. eh?
Oh, yeah, we probably need that.
Part D.
So we have a letter that will ask you to sign if you, and I don't know if you have to take form, I think we need you to take formal action. I don't know if you'll do that today or another time, but we'll have to have a letter signed saying that you approved our work plan, and we'll send you a template
Okay.
for that.
Send it to Corey.
Okay,
He'll be back next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
He's-
thank
or I
he-
send it to
he-
Helen.
He's the chairman, that's why, or Helen's fine too.
She takes. care of
It'll
this.
get here to our table if you send it to one of those two. Dan and I, not so much.
All right.
Depends on what you do.
We're just members.
Do you have any other questions for us?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Well,
Thank you.
very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time today, and
Yeah, thank you for coming.
have a good rest of your meeting.
Come down the interstate and take your time.
Wish it was a less
Lot of road
road day
construction.
for a ride going on out
Well,
there.
that smoke is bad, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
Helena's,
this is worse here than Helena.
It was worse yesterday. It
Today.
was really bad yesterday.
and it's supposed to rain, we hope, right? Isn't that what we've heard?
Tomorrow
Yeah, I
night,
heard
maybe.
that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow and
Hopefully
Thursday.
that'll
Yeah,
help.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
That'll be cooler.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, ladies. Take care.
You too.
Okay, that's about it unless. Anybody know? Jay Otterson, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Doesn't look like it may be gone.
Nope.
No. Connor, anything else?
I just thank you all and have a great week.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. This meeting will be adjourned then.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks for coming down.
Okay, Paul, according to the Google machine, I guess it's the Bing machine.
Mhm.
There's no government provided flex card for seniors. Only certain Medicare aid van